Hey, welcome to the vlog. Yeah, I haven't touched much of that stuff. I've been super busy lately. Though some friends came over the other day and they brought me, oh, this. That's right. It is in the box with the manual and all the accessories and an Electrolux. So we'll get to fixing that. I'm gonna make just a video by itself on that. But I wanted to just show a preview of that because it's cool and new. Let's see. No, I need to put a new toilet seat in my house. Friend of mine brought this over to repair, so I will repair it and probably do a video on it because this is like one of my favorite little dirt devil things. It always felt like a toy. Kind of is a toy. But we'll do a video on that later. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. On a side note, since it's here, I'll mention it. These are some records that my neighbor across the street, who recently moved and sold her house, and she's going into a retirement center. Super nice lady. Gave me all her records, so I look forward to playing these and going through these. There's probably at least 100, 150 records here, so I look forward to going through these. And fortunately, this is copyrighted music, so I can't really share it with you, but we'll just ponder on, give you an idea what we got. We got just, some old classics here, and I appreciate a lot of this stuff. I really like preserving the culture from the previous generations. All right. So I had this odor in my basement, couldn't figure out what it was, and then my wife started thinking it was the vacuum. So I went through and threw some vacuum bags away, and then we realized it wasn't the vacuums, of course. They've all been cleaned and serviced. You all have been privy to that. It was the humidity from the swamp cooler setting in the basement. So we took one of our portable air conditioners that's also a dehumidifier, and it's been running 24/7 now. The U1 upright. I did some work on this, and I didn't film it, because I had some friends over and I did it real fast. I haven't done the motor thing, but this guy got a new base assembly on him. So if you'll recall the new base assembly on this, and you can see where I taped over the old one trying to get it to work because, well, somebody had ground a straight up hole in that. So new base assembly, use this. I might need to do like a retrospective on this or talk about this less in a review, more in its innovation, because it really is a unique piece of German engineering. And I was thinking about it, I have a lot of vacuum cleaners. This is one of the best uprights ever made, just like period. This is like one of the best. So anyways, it's special to me. I'm glad to have it. And again, they've discontinued these because the coronavirus parts are hard to come by from Miele. So if you see one of these, it's a bargain, 20, 30, 50 bucks, buy it. But do expect to put, like I did with this one, another 80 bucks into it in parts. And the hose is sticking out. That's really starting to bug me. I might have to change that out, unfortunately. And I just don't want to keep putting money into it. So, especially considering I have plenty of other vacuums to use. So I've been testing the high zero. I just did my whole house, and I've done my kitchen and some other things before when I first got it. But I've been testing the high zero, and really impressive. In fact, the battery didn't run out until today. So I think I've used it maybe 7 times, or 7 tanks, I guess I should say, before the battery ran out. Cleanup was simple, but that's one of the complaints I've heard is that you have to pull both brush rollers out and, you know, wash the tank and stuff. But that's like normal for this kind of machine. So I really don't see it as anything different than like the Hoover, the Bissell Crosswave. Maybe you've had different experience. If you have one of these, I'd love to hear from you. Again, this is the newer model, but if you have the older model, I'd love to hear from you. In addition, I really like the smell of this, so I'm gonna order some more of this when I sit down here to edit this video. So we're gonna continue testing this. Well, we had some technical difficulties. It's so hot here that my GoPro overheated in the more air-conditioned part of my house. So I'm shooting this with the regular camera we use. Now I've got the studio mic attached, so if it sounds different or funny, or I'm bumping something, that's why. We're gonna run this here in a few minutes because I have this back together, but first I kind of want to talk about it. So, on the bottom of these, you know, they're made of magnesium, and they would later go to plastic. So when I found this at a thrift store, that this had the original magnesium base intact and the machine was mostly intact, I was really happy. I was really ashamed is when I put it back together, the brush roller was bad and the fan was wiggling. There was too much play in it. So I thought it was a gasket, but I wanted to replace the fan and neck assembly. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that's not happening anytime soon. So I bought a gasket, but I couldn't get the right gasket. So I'd buy an Oric Classic gasket and Bojack it in there, and it seems to be working pretty well. So I don't recommend doing that, but if, you know, you can't find the parts, at least the Oric Classic gasket can be made to fit this. So this is another one like the S7 that it's been recently discontinued. The parts are available and out there still, so if you want to buy one of these cheap and fix it up, you can. This one cost me about $35 to fix up. It cost me about $18 for the machine. So again, much cheaper than even the $100 ones we have at Walmart. But this had the original magnesium base. And the other thing I wanted to mention is a friend of mine mentioned this the other day, and I didn't realize that's why they went with the color change. So when this gets scratched up, it looks very similar to the silver, where the original version was black and had no swivel neck and had no button on the handle. And when it got scratched up, it turned silver from the magnesium. So that's interesting. Now, the other thing I want to mention about magnesium is it cracks when it hits things, which is why they switched to plastic, where the plastic will bend or, you know, move and is, of course, a little bit less to manufacture. So it has that double factor that plastic often has. We switched to plastic things not to make them cheaper always, but sometimes because it really is the better material to use. And I can think of a lot of examples. You see rocker covers in cars. That was one of the better ones, better materials they started using. You saw it with the Russians when they developed AK mags. They went in the 60s to plastic or Bakelite. So using these synthetic materials really is good for a lot of things. Those are just two examples I can think of off the top of my head that are not vacuum related. So let's do some vacuuming. This would be the last days of old technology, as Jay Leno would put it. This really is the last of the direct air plug-in machines. Probably one of the last direct air machines we'll see designed. I don't think you're going to see a newer direct air machine that's not a cordless machine out there. This is probably the last new direct air machine that we're going to see. And again, now it's been discontinued. So again, I pick one of these up if you see one. Save it. They really are cool machines. Plus, the handle looks like the Eiffel Tower. The Lupe is going in this closet. I am tired of looking at it, and they certainly need to make some improvements, and I hope the owner of Lupe takes my video seriously. One thing he did ask is for the serial number on this one and the one that Chance and I think Babs has the third one. I'm sorry, I can't remember. There's somebody else in the Discord who has one of these. I want to get the serial numbers to them because they all act differently from the conversations we had. Mine slows the roller. It's supposed to stop the roller. So that was the thing in question. So apparently they did send me a defective one. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, don't run out of vacuum bags.